Hello and welcome to the launch of Big Leadership. I'm super excited to share this book with you. If you're watching the recording, welcome to you as well. I'm so excited. This has been a huge build up for me. I'm probably more excited about this book than any of my others, and I think it's because it's just such a powerful message, and I'm really excited about sharing it with the world. So I'd love to hear from you. Please pop your thoughts and questions in the comments. I'll try and address as many of them as I can during the live stream and afterwards if I need to. But thank you so much for joining me and helping me to launch this book, number 6, into the world tonight. To those of my colleagues and friends around the world, it'll be a morning for some, middle of the night for others, afternoon. Welcome to you too, and I really appreciate all of your support. As it so happens, this has been a fairly tight time frame to get this book out, and so I was in danger of not having a book to hold up during this launch program, and fortunately it arrived this morning. You can see it's actually the proof copy. It's got the not for resale on there, so it was a very close thing, but super exciting to be able to share that with you. I'm just going to check the comments and make sure that everyone can hear me, because I have done a launch before where I turned my microphone off, so just before I launch. So I just want to check that and see that we're coming through loud and clear. And also, of course, if there are any questions or thoughts that are happening, looks okay so far. Here we go. I'm just checking Facebook. I've got LinkedIn and Facebook, 2 Facebooks running at the same time. It's kind of exciting to have all of these platforms happening because it means I can share this message even further. Okay, so I can't see that one coming up, but I'm sure it is. So the book, as I said, the book is it's available now on Amazon. And we have a very special launch offer for the Kindle version, which is the 99-cent offer, which I do every time because I really want to get this into as many hands as I possibly can. So jump on and grab that. The link is in the details of the live stream. So you'll see that, and I'll post it up in the comments as well shortly as I'm multitasking. I'd love to hear from you when you get your copy so that I can say thank you and appreciate you and appreciate your investment in yourself and the development of your leadership and sharing what I think are some really important ideas. I can see some comments coming through, so thank you. Super grateful who are with me. Thank you, Davina. And I've already seen that a few people have actually purchased the hard copy, the paperback version, so I'm super grateful, and we will get those just as soon as we can. We need to order them, of course. So let me tell you a little bit about the journey to big leadership. As some of you would know, I've written a few books about different facets of leadership, all really important. And in particular, during the pandemic period, I focused very much on the things that leaders would need to equip them to really continue to show up and to be the best leader they could possibly be. What were really different and difficult and challenging circumstances and a lot of change. The book Big Leadership is a little different to that. So the book is all about where do we go from here? What do leaders need to do that really will set them, their teams, their organizations, customers up for success and create a future that they want to be part of. And let me just say thanks to Anthony for letting me know that you can hear me. Really appreciate that. So this book is not about just surviving and hoping things will go back to normal after the pandemic and the changes that the world has gone through. This is actually really a call to arms to leaders to say, you know what, the world has changed. If you want to continue to lead, you must change as well. Otherwise, the leadership that you used to do, that you used to have, the approaches that perhaps worked in the pre-2019 kind of period, they're just not valid anymore. Well, not as valid. You don't throw everything out, but I think it's really important to recognise that leaders need bigger, different, more in terms of their leadership toolkit to be able to step into their leadership and really create the future. So this is not about, hoping everything will turn out, hoping things will go back to the way they were before, but actually really recognizing that leaders have a very clear responsibility to create the future rather than cross their fingers and, and hope that they land in a soft place, because that's not how it's going to work. And I think we've all probably realized that in some form. This is just about, let's actually turn that into proactive leadership so that you really are making a softer place to land in future. Excuse me. What else can I tell you about the book? Of course, um, there's so many people to thank in writing a book. It's an incredibly intense journey, and I have lots of great people in my corner who support me, to deliver what I think are really important messages. So let me just share some of those thank yous so that I can recognise them before I get too caught up in the book itself. My amazing book coach and team from Inspirational Book Writers, so Dave Thompson, Davina Davidson, and their whole crew. I'm just immensely grateful to the incredible support that you always give me, to the amazing space that you create for me to write. And for those that don't know, the way that I write my books is I do the research and I do the preparation, but then when I actually get to writing, I don't write half an hour a day for 6 months. I take a week and I write the book in a week, with intensity, and we get that done, and then we move really quickly into publish and launch. So this book was written in February this year. It's very current, very relevant, got lots of really recent research and that sort of thing in it to make it very apt for you right now. So, and so that team, David, Lena, and the team are amazing in terms of helping me to turn that around really, really quickly and get the ideas out into the world. So great appreciation for that. Of course, my family who give me the week to actually, be able to put myself into that space and really not to do anything else. I have some great colleagues, Ali and Eleanor, who I really wanted to recognise because they have been instrumental in helping me to take my thinking and actually craft it into a really clear message. And so this message has been probably generating for about 2 years, perhaps even longer, but crystallising into this concept of big leadership. And so my extreme, really heartfelt thanks to them for all their support and challenge and stretch and more support and encouragement. And so a reminder again, of course, the book is currently on sale. I would love for you to grab a copy, a Kindle copy, 99 cents, in your local market. So it's available all over the world in all the different Amazon sites. And so you can search it up by author name, Stacey Ashley. You can search it up by the title, Big Leadership, or you can just grab the link that is in the that's in the post and apply that to your local marketplace. Will be, of course, there's paperback copy. If you're in Australia and you would like to get a signed copy of the book, then you can get that from the staceyashley.com website, and it's available. I'm going to quickly check the comments just to see who I've got on the live with me. So, Sam, hey, Sam, you are such a great supporter from Adelaide. Really, really appreciate having you on the launch again. Really wonderful to see that. And let me see, I'm just going to refresh this page. Other thank yous while I'm refreshing pages and seeing the comments that have come through. Gosh, everyone I work with. So a lot of my clients have been really key in terms of sort of informing, I guess, the story and the need for this book. I've been working with a huge range of clients over the last few years who have really opened up about what they've learned from the pandemic, what the challenges are, what the opportunities are going forward, the need for leadership to be different and to be more holistic. And I think we're all probably really aware of that leadership isn't just about the numbers and the commercial bottom line and that sort of thing. I think we've always known leadership is bigger than that, and it has kindness and compassion and empathy and humanity and all of those things. But now we speak about it in much louder voices. There's much more conversation about those things, and so big leadership has elements of that. That there's an expansion of leadership here. You know, that leadership is actually embodying a much broader body of work, if you like, and that the expectations of leaders from the people around them have gone up. And I think that's right. I think they totally should have. What else can I tell you? I'm just going to check my notes because I wrote some notes about some of the things that I wanted to share with you. Why did I write the book? Probably the big reason for writing this book was because I feel like there are some leaders who are doing, of course, as always, an amazing job. They seem to have clarity. They have the courage to step into their leadership and that sort of thing. But there are others who have great intention, but they're not quite sure how to tackle their leadership going forward, how to lead their organizations, how to lead their industries and their communities. And so I wanted to offer a great resource. But I also wanted to raise the level of awareness, the level of importance around, you know, that leaders really do need to step up. You know, doing what you've always done is not enough. Relying on past great results is not enough because the world has changed around you. And so you need to adapt and change and grow and expand your leadership as well. And the first time that I shared some of these concepts was in Las Vegas last year at the Stevie Awards for Women in Business. And I talked about the concept of big leadership in a public space for the first time, which was a little bit confronting, but also very exciting. And what I talked about was that leaders with big vision who challenge the status quo, make bold decisions and take brave action, create the future. And that was incredibly well received by the audience there. There was a real response to that message, and it seemed to really strike a chord with people. And that's when I really began to realize that I needed to write this book because the message of big leadership was landing. And since that pattern of people really embracing big leadership has kind of happened. A lot of the leaders that I work with are really reaching out, and they've been saying, when is the book going to be released? When is the book going to be ready? When can I get a copy? Which is amazing. And so, of course, you can get a copy now. The other thing, though, about this book is I don't expect everyone to love it. I think for some people it will be a little confronting because I am asking leaders to step up even more, not to work longer hours necessarily, not to be more stressed necessarily, but to go bigger with their leadership, to have that bigger vision, bolder decision-making, braver action. And I think that for some people, they're not really going to want to opt into that. And that's okay because I didn't write the book for them. I wrote the book for the people who do want to adopt big leadership, who want to go big with their leadership, who want to make the difference, who want to create a future that they want to be part of, not just hope for the best or not rest on their laurels. And that's why, there's a lot of focus on, even if you read the back cover starts off with, if not now, when? That's my question. If we don't go big with our leadership now, then when would we? Because all the evidence points to the fact that we must do that. Otherwise, we'll suffer the consequences, and we may not love the consequences. So I think it's really important that we really take on and adopt some of these characteristics. And for me, big leadership has started with actually writing the book. So when I was thinking about it, I realised that I too must adopt big leadership, and so I'm doing my best to lead by example with that. And the first part of that was to write the book, knowing that the book is not. It's not a complete ideation, if you like. It's how far it captures my thinking so far. I'm sure there's more to come, but I wanted to get the message out into the world. And so while there's probably more to come, I feel it was really important to write the book now and to help other people to really start considering how they could adopt big leadership and what form it would take for them to really be quite deliberate about expanding their vision, about how they approach decision making, about the action that they take, and to really step into that leadership role in a way that is comprehensive and it is meaningful and it does add value and it does make a difference, which of course is going to be incredibly rewarding. And like I said, it's not about working harder, it's about working on the right things that will make a difference for you and for your teams and for your business. And of course, CEOs are in the prime position to be able to create that, to really lead from the top, to set the tone of the organization, to create that expansion opportunity. Because I think while the world has changed and there's so much going on, and yes, we've still got obstacles and challenges and that sort of thing, but there's incredible opportunity. We've had so much disruption in the last few years. It's really opened up a whole range of new spaces and opportunities for organizations and their people to move into. And I think that's super exciting. Let me just see how we are going here. I can see quite a few messages. I've even got some messages on my phone. I can't look at it at the moment, but from people saying that they have that they've got their copy and they can't wait to read it. So that's really amazing. Thank you. I hope that you love some of the ideas. I hope you love all the ideas, but some of them would be good. And I'd love for you to be sharing these ideas with the people around you, because I think that's one of the most important things about being a leader, isn't it? Is to grow the leaders around you, which is basically everyone. Okay, let me see what else have I got here. Oh, this is the other thing that's been a really interesting one. Creating a concept of leadership that is expansive yet succinct. And of course, I've landed on the word big. And I know for some people, big, I've had a couple of people say to me, that's an interesting word to choose. And they're right, but it does capture what I was looking for in the essence of this message of leadership. And so let me just read a couple of things out of the introduction around the meanings of big. So I did a bit of research around, what does big mean? And here are some of the meanings. Big, large as in size, height, width, or amount. Big leadership. I think that fits. Another meaning of big, of major concern, importance, gravity, or the like. And I think that's really appropriate, big leadership. Another meaning is outstanding for a specified quality. So again, big leadership, I think, yeah, that fits. And then finally, important as in influence or standing. And big leadership fits there as well. So what I'm really talking about is leadership that has influence and impact and gravitas and really is about creating the future. It's really about taking responsibility, stepping up, being purposeful and intentional with your leadership to make a difference. And I think in terms of a leadership calling, that's pretty cool. Ricardo, great to see you. Thank you so much for your support. That's really lovely to see that coming through. So I would love to take any questions while we're on the live. I know many people won't see the live while I'm live, but if you're watching the recording and you have a question, just pop it into the comments and I'll keep an eye on it over the next few days and certainly come back to you with as much of an answer as I can share with you. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to open my iPad so I can see my notes. That's why I'm looking over here. Okay, too many devices at once. The other thing that I wanted to share, I guess, about this book is that it is for sharing. I'm really want to create, as many people who choose to adopt big leadership as possible, to challenge as many leaders as possible to step up to big leadership. how they can, because it'll be different for everyone, and that's okay. This is, though, about really being conscious and conscientious, I guess, about your leadership and making it more than it has been before, and making it being on purpose and intentional with it. So sharing the ideas, sharing the book itself, I encourage you to do that. I really want to get it into as many hands as possible, because I think that it became clear to me during the last few years, something I already knew, but it just really clarified it and accentuated, I guess, it even more, is we don't prepare our leaders well enough. We don't give them enough tools and equipment at all levels of leadership. So not just early leaders, but middle level leaders, senior leaders, executive leaders, leaders of industry. We simply don't equip them well enough. And the more that we can do that, and the more that we can get people to own their leadership so they also do it for themselves, as well as relying on their organizations to build their leadership skills and capability, then I think that creates an opportunity for us to all elevate our leadership. The world actually needs more and better leadership more broadly than it currently has. We have situations we've never faced before. We need leaders with universal leadership skills, not ones that are tied to a particular technology or a particular scenario, because we can't predict the technology and we can't predict the situation or scenario that we might face in a year or 5 years or 10 years. And so what we need are people who are equipped with leadership skills that they can apply with to and whatever they're faced with, and with the people around them. And they can lead people to collaborate, to innovate, to solve problems, to aspire to creating the future. And I think that that's kind of cool as well. So we really need to be stretching the concepts of leadership, and so that we can develop this kind of universal leadership approach with universal leadership skills that we can just use wherever, whenever we are, in whatever context, and still be leading and creating really important progress and outcomes that matter for our tribes, our communities, our organizations. Okay, let me have a look. I'm just checking other comments, and I've got lots of tabs open and looking around at those. I'd love to know if you have taken a moment to purchase the book. I'd love to know that, so I can say thank you, and I'd love to hear later on your thoughts and what really struck you and what's inspired you and what's resonated with you, because that keeps me going, because I know that I'm on track, and that we're starting a dialogue about the things that are important. So that's the other purpose of this book, to be a real conversation starter. I believe it will polarize people. Some people will love it, some people won't. That's okay. But let's have the conversations, because the more that we have conversations about the role of leaders, the responsibility of leaders, the skills that leaders should have, the more opportunity we're really creating for everyone. Love to know your thoughts on that as well. Okay. Gosh, what else did I have to share? I kind of feel like I've just about covered everything that was most important. I am very excited about this book. I was saying to a couple of people, one of them being my book coach earlier today, that I'm probably more excited about this book than any of the books that I've written. And I just think because it's this moment in time when this book, is really important. And I think will serve leaders really well over the coming years as they reflect on their own practice of leadership, and they help to build leadership around them to navigate the new and different circumstances that we find ourselves in. And so I think that, combined with the feedback I've been getting around the message of big leadership, makes it, pretty exciting, actually. And it's just a joy to get that kind of feedback from people, to know that this is making a difference. And so, it's a big thing to put a book into the world. For the authors that I know are watching and listening, I appreciate you, because I know what goes into sharing your thoughts with the world, and for those who share their insights back and offer feedback and encouragement and support, it's really valued. So thank you for that. Beautiful. Okay. Gosh, I've kind of run out of things to say. It hasn't actually taken me that long, but I think I said most of it in the book itself. And so, read the book and let me know what you think. I've got my wonderful husband telling me that he loves the message and theme of this book. Isn't that gracious? Nice of him. Great supporter always. And I've had some of my clients give me some messages of support as well, and some of my other colleagues. So I'm feeling pretty lucky and chuffed this weekend, and I've had a delightful weekend as well. So this is just kind of the icing on the cake. And so for everyone watching this live, watching the recording, I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. I'm really, really excited about hearing your thoughts on big leadership. And so I'll look forward to those over the coming days, and I'll certainly be responding if you give me any messages, or send me any messages. I'd love for you to share this book, because I think it's an important book, to share this book with your colleagues, who maybe would appreciate, I can't get the angle right, there we go, and I'm going to bring it this way, who would appreciate the message of big leadership, how CEOs create the future, who would also like to share it with their colleagues and the people in their tribe. If they're trying to do something important, this message may help. If they need to embark on, a new direction, this message might help. If they're simply trying to hold their place in their marketplace while their marketplace changes around them, this book may well help to find ways to do that. So I think there's something in there for everyone. And while the book is focused and aimed at the CEO space, leaders at all levels will get loads of ideas that they can apply, and also encourage their CEO with as well. So I'm hopeful that, in fact, there's real value in there for many, many people. All right. Wow, I've nearly hit the half an hour mark. I wonder if that's enough time for a book launch. There are lots of good things that I think are going to come out of this book. Please stay tuned, because we're launching a couple of amazing new programs aligned with the themes of big leadership. And of course, I have a new keynote based on big leadership, which I'm very excited to share with my corporate clients and their audiences, their leader audiences. Here in Australia and actually around the world. I'm really keen to take this one global, because I think the message is really valid around the world. And it's really important that we have leaders who are focused on the future, not just focused on today, because I think that's one of the danger zones that we have at the moment, is that we are tactical and operational and reactive, as opposed to being all of that, plus having an eye on the horizon to be able to be much more strategic and thoughtful and creative with our leadership, so that we are expanding the opportunities and we are staying relevant and we are staying current. In fact, one of the pieces of research that I read while preparing for this book was from the PwC CEO Global Survey for 2023, which talked about the fact that 45% of the CEOs surveyed, so thousands, about 4,500 CEOs, believed that if they continued to operate their organisation in the same way as they have been, that within a decade, the organisation wouldn't be commercially viable anymore. And that to me is like a big red flag to say, hey, we need to do things differently, and that means leaders need to do things differently. Combine that with the fact that more than 54% of the workforce that comes from the World Economic Forum will need to be reskilled by 2030. And about another 40% need to be reskilled. So you're looking at over 94% of the workforce need to be upskilled and reskilled by 2030. That means we need to do a lot of things differently, and we need to lead people through that. So there are substantial areas of change going on around us, and as leaders, we need to respond to those things or become redundant. And we need to make sure that our people are actually able to continue to participate in the workforce by giving them the right skills, for example. But that's a significant change. That requires big transformation. We're talking about more than 1 billion, nearly 2 billion people worldwide. That's massive. Combine that with things like about I think it's 83%, it's in the book, but about 83% of millennials do not believe that their leaders in their organisation have what it takes to lead their organisation forward. So there's not a lot of belief and trust in leaders, and we need to change that narrative, or again, become redundant, become irrelevant, and not have currency in the world of organisations and work. And it's pretty scary, yet there are things you can do. And so what this book is about is setting the scene, what makes it so important for leaders to really think about their leadership and how to go big, because there are serious potential consequences if you don't. And then the book shares ideas and strategies for how you do big leadership, how you adopt big leadership, and then actually get back in control rather than losing control of your leadership and your place in, your organization, your industry, the world of work. So to be a viable contributor as a leader, you've got a lot of change in front of you. And I know many people are doing an amazing job, and hats off to them. And some of them don't have leader titles, some of them do. Hats off to all of you. But for those who maybe are a little bit slower on kind of getting into the groove of how do I need to navigate what's going on at the moment, how do I know what to focus on and how to do that, and when to make a decision and when not to make a decision, and how to broaden my own perspective, which is the big vision piece. This book has a lot of ideas to share to help you with that. Because we are in a danger zone as leaders. We're in a danger zone of becoming irrelevant and redundant if we don't do things to grow our leadership, to actually be leading rather than trying to catch up all the time, which I think is what very, leaders that I speak to do feel that at times. And I know many leaders are still in overwhelm. We've still got the fatigue factor. There's lots of carryover as a consequence of the last few years. And it's about, which lever do I pull to actually make a difference? And so I'm hoping that you'll get some really great ideas. Well, I know you will get some really great ideas that you can then take and apply if it's important enough for you to do that. So that gives you a little insight into some of the concepts that I share in big leadership. It really is based on some of the most current information that we have around the world of work, the consequences of the last few years and the impacts of those going forward, and what makes it even more important for leaders to really step up their leadership. So, wow, I can see quite a few people have commented. I've flipped over to the Facebook page. So thank you so much for all those that have liked and shared and commented on and bought the book. So if you haven't yet, of course, buy the book. Kindle version, 99 cents. That's a limited time offer. We'll be taking that down within 24 hours or so. And that's globally. So you can get that in your local Amazon marketplace. And then that paperback copy, of course, is available as well. And if you're in Australia, you can get a signed paperback copy from my website, the staceyashley.com website. Kim Whiteley, thank you so much. Appreciate that. In fact, it's interesting. People who have been following me for a while, have been amazing clients and supporters for a while, I started to see purchases of the paperback come through before we went live tonight. So, great thanks to those people who jumped the gun a little bit, but are super excited. That they're so excited to get their copies of the book. That's really amazing and loads of fun to sort of see that people are really keen to get their hands on the book. So amazing. All right, let me just do another check of the feeds, make sure that there's no other questions or no questions, so I can just answer anything there. Okay, I think we're pretty good. Again, huge thanks to everyone who's participated in some way in bringing the book to life. I'm super excited that I'm sharing it tonight, and I can't wait to really put it in everybody's hands. So Kindle copies tonight, paperbacks will be on their way very soon. Fingers crossed that we will make Amazon bestseller. I'd really like to make that milestone again. That would be really lovely as well. Share the link with your colleagues who you think will benefit from this book and opportunity. And at 99 cents, it's a steal. As I said, any questions that you have, pop them in the comments. I will be checking on them. I would love to have a conversation or answer your questions, and enjoy the read, the Big Leadership read. And if you want to talk more about it, then drop me a note. I'd love to have a conversation about just how important Big Leadership really is for you and for your tribe. And gosh, here we are. I've run out of words again. I think I might leave it there. But I'm so incredibly grateful for the support. And I can see more people are jumping on actually now. So Sonia, thank you so much. Really appreciate all of your support. I was so lucky on International Women's Day. I was able to work with Sonia Gibson and many of the people in her community at the inaugural Accounting Innovators Australia event for International Women's Day, and that was just a delight to be part of. And I spoke about big leadership at that event, and I think it landed pretty well from the feedback I got. So that was a real joy to be able to share that to another big group of people in Australia. So again, Sonia, thank you for your support. I'm really looking forward to our ongoing work together. Okay. Let's call it a wrap. It's Sunday night here in Australia. So for those who have jumped onto the live, I am grateful that you have shared some of your weekend time with me. And for those who come and watch the recording, many of you, it will still be weekend time when you do that. So my thanks to you and for making the time at any point through the next few days as this live sits on your respective platforms. Again, reach out if you need some help or you want to have a conversation, if you've got a particular question. If you read the book and you love it, please let me know. Or if you want to debate something, let me know that as well. I think it's really important that we have conversations about the big important stuff around leadership. Okay. Whew. I think we're launched. I think Big Leadership is here, and I think I would call this a successful launch. We've had lots of people on the lives, which is always fantastic, and I can see the purchases, the orders of Big Leadership Kindle coming through. So that's amazing, and enjoy the book. I mean, just dive into it. I think that it'll be enlightening. I hope it will be anyway. And I think you'll get some great ideas to support yourself and, you know, the world around you, in terms of your own leadership and creating the future. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, don't just hope for the best and cross your fingers, because hope is not a strategy. Create the future. Be deliberate. Be in control. Take control. Just don't wait for things to happen. Decide to take control. Do what you can, and make a difference for you and yours. I think that's super important. So I'm going to sign off now with gratitude and thanks, and really appreciate all of the people who've joined me, all of the people who've supported me, and looking forward to the continuing conversation about big leadership, and hope to talk to you all in one way or another very soon. Bye for now.